as you look at that injury update right there. Many of those players, Babe, are planning to return to practice on Saturday when training camp resumes at Valley Ranch and also here at Cowboys Stadium next week.
And the one that really concerns me, Bill, is Terrence Newman at corner. You don't want to lose a corner, number one. Number two, he says he'll be back for the opener against the New York Jets on September 11th. I'm not so sure. And it's a groin injury, so all that conditioning work is going to go by the wayside.
Hey, look who gets the first chance to kick the football off here. It's the rookie out of Oklahoma State, Mustang, Oklahoma, Dan Bailey. He puts his foot into it. And, of course, from the 35-yard line into the back of the end zone. That's a rules change this year, which we'll get into later, as the Broncos will take over on offense. And you've seen Rob Ryan on that sideline. I know Cowboys fans very excited to see what Rob Ryan brings to this defense in his first year as the coordinator here after 3 years in Cleveland. The previous 5 years with the Oakland Raiders, was with the Patriots prior to that. And the Broncos on offense with Kyle Orton at quarterback. DeMarcus Ware getting the start as usual at outside linebacker. As Babe mentioned, no Terrence Newman. There's also no Mike Jenkins at cornerback for the Cowboys. No Keith Brooking either. Ball batted away by DeMarcus Ware. And the Cowboys defensive lineup featuring one DeMarcus Ware, of course. Brought to you by Miller Lite. Marcus Spears, Josh Brent starting for Jay Ratliff at nose tackle. The linebackers, Sean Lee in there for Keith Brooking. And on 2nd and 10, it's Noshawn Moreno, hit first by Sean Lee, a pickup of 3 yards. In the secondary for the Cowboys, as I mentioned, Newman and Jenkins are out. Alan Ball at one corner, Orlando Scandrick at the other. The newcomer, Abe Elam from the Cleveland Browns, signed as a free agent just last week. And Gerald Sensabaugh also signed as a free agent last week. 3rd and 6 from the 24-yard line for the Broncos. Expect the starters on both sides to go 10 to 12 plays. They'll play it by ear, both Jason Garrett and John Fox, the head coach of the Broncos. And from the shotgun, Kyle Orton has a wide open man, and that's Eric Decker, the second-year man out of Minnesota. Run out of bounds by Abe Elam inside Cowboys territory at the 47-yard line.
Yeah, that was just too easy, Bill Jones. Some type of breakdown in coverage there. And this is almost to be expected here. You see it's Gerald Sensabaugh looking in the backfield. Now, he was the closest guy to him. You never know who's actually responsible for that assignment. But again, Gerald Sensabaugh, one of those veteran free agents, Bill, who had to sit out for the first 5 days of practice before they could get going. So everybody's been limited. The free agent signings even more limited.
That's right, about a week under their belt before they were able to start practice in San Antonio back on Thursday. Rest of the team has been working out for 2 weeks. Of course, no off season for anybody in the NFL. And the short pass from Orton is complete for a pickup of about 6 or 7 yards to Noshawn Moreno.
And you would have to think that early on, the teams that have had continuity in their head coaching and both coaching staffs, offensively and defensively, are going to be better off that first couple of weeks. I think even when the regular season hits, Bill. Cowboys obviously under Jason Garrett, same offense, different defense, as we pointed out with Rob Ryan as the coordinator. And he said he's kept about 2% of the terminology that Wade Phillips had. So very, very little.
That's a lot to learn in 2 weeks for this Dallas defense. 2nd and 2 for the Broncos, and running room for Moreno. He has the first down inside the 35, down near the 33-yard line. And how about Kyle Orton for the Broncos? Here's a quarterback that 2 weeks ago was rumored to be traded to the Miami Dolphins.
He seemed to be all but gone at that point, as we see Moreno again up the middle. Interestingly enough, the guy that they signed was Matt Moore, a Cowboy who was here in camp, who I never thought they should have got away personally, but he was a free agent. They signed him, and that ended the Orton sweepstakes.
Second first down in the early going for the Broncos from the Cowboys 33. This is Willis McGahee, one of the big free agent signings 2 weeks ago by the Broncos. He's inside the 30 to the 28.
And Kyle Orton's one of those guys, Bill, I think forever in his career. I have a feeling he's going to play 15 years in the league, but they're always going to be looking to get better than Kyle Orton. And it's a little bit unfair I thought he's played pretty well. They had literally the worst defense in the NFL last year, the Denver Broncos did. And that's a hard way to make a living. But as a Bronco, 41 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. That 2-to-1 ratio, not bad.
2nd and 5 for Orton and the Broncos on the first possession of the game. And McGahee bounces outside left. He's inside the 20 and down near the 16-yard line for the 3rd first down for the Broncos.
The Broncos took advantage of DeMarcus Ware. He was firing in, and he left that corner unprotected and didn't get to the quarterback. The Cowboys are rushing hard here. I hope Denver's not offended that they blitzed on 2 of the first 3 plays.
I think it's actually Igor Olshansky who gets hooked on the right side of that Cowboys defense, and it's just a gaping hole. DeMarcus is trying to turn the play back inside, which he does, but there's no one there to make the tackle.
Quick snap this time by the Broncos, and hitting the backfield was McGahee. Bounces off a man. That was Sean Lee, and gets inside the 10. Nice pickup for the Broncos, and it's going to set up a 2nd and short.
Well, this looks like a little bit of a John Fox offense. He's a longtime defensive coordinator, of course, 9 years in Carolina as a head coach. But does this not look like the Carolina Panthers? Short passing, run the ball, run the ball. Matter of fact, he said in the offseason here, their #1 priority was to get a running back in free agency. That was their #1 priority. They end up with Willis McGahee.
And so they've got the tandem of McGahee and Noshawn Moreno, who is in the backfield here on 2nd and 2 from the Cowboys 9. Lots of running room for Moreno. Gets to the 2nd level and has another first down. 4th of this opening drive for the Broncos down near the 2-yard line.
Just watch the line of scrimmage moves. The line of scrimmage here starts out at the 9, and just watch the whole Cowboys defense. They end up, look at it, all back at the 5 before there's any contact, and it's a safety, Gerald Sensabaugh, coming up. But that line of scrimmage, the Cowboys are just being manhandled right now up front.
And there are some young players on that Broncos offensive line, including a rookie at right tackle, Orlando Franklin, and 2 second-year men, including center J.D. Walton out of Allen. 1st and goal from the 3. Hit in the backfield and dropped. Marcus Spears, welcome back.
Marcus Spears wanted to tell Jerry Jones, hey, your money was well spent getting me back here. Saw a big difference on that one. The last one we saw the line of scrimmage just move. This time, Marcus Spears doesn't get blocked, but comes in and gets the angle here. It looks like the Broncos screw up this blocking assignment up front. And again, these are teams that have been together 2 weeks. New head coach. It's going to look a little ragged early on.
However, they had the stop in the backfield, what appeared to be a tackle for loss, but a half the distance penalty against the Cowboys. 1st and goal from just outside the 1-yard line now for the Broncos. The fade. Incomplete. Brandon Lloyd, the intended target, and Brian McCann, the 2nd-year man out of SMU, defending.
You've sat there and you've just pounded the ball down the Cowboys' throats. They can't stop you, and you throw a fade? I mean, I understand when you're trying to work on things. That's not something you work on. As a matter of fact, I want to see, hey, can my offensive line, can my running back, can we come down, get this yard at the goal line?
Offense, 12 men in the huddle. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That is referee Terry McCauley with the call, as the Broncos had 12 men in the huddle, so they'll push them back 5 yards.
And you don't just, the rule here, you don't actually have to go to the line of scrimmage with 12 guys. It's as soon as 12 players are in the huddle, that becomes a penalty.
And the reason for that is such a substitution game.
Oh, I'm watching the Cowboys substitution, and Rob Ryan and his defensive staff trying to get guys in and out. And there's so many players over there on the sideline. There's Rob Ryan trying to get those guys. That's going to be the toughest part of the evening, just getting the personnel on the field.
Empty backfield this time, as Orton has 3 receivers left, 2 to the right, on 2nd and goal from the 6. Now flushed out, fires back of the end zone and out of bounds. Brandon Lloyd, Gerald Sensabaugh defending.
Not only was he out of bounds when he caught the ball, he stepped out of bounds before he made the break down the back line to catch the ball.
So even if he was in bounds when he caught it, it wouldn't have counted. Brandon Lloyd, what a season he had last year. After an off season the year before, he had 1,400 yards receiving last year for the Broncos.
Became a Pro Bowler, and it's funny, 9th year, and I was always waiting for him to be a really good player. They got big money in free agency and goes to Denver, and it finally happens again in his 8th season in the NFL.
1 for 1 on third down so far, the Broncos. They converted to Eric Decker earlier on this drive on third down. Flushed out. Jason Hatcher with the pressure on Orton, who throws it away. And field goal time for the Broncos.
Well, I'll get back to that first down call. It's 1st and 1 at the 1. 1st and goal at the 1. And they throw the fade, and it went downhill for Denver from there. Why you wouldn't just, again, run it right down their throats. They ran the ball for 40 yards on that drive. They didn't want to get that last one.
It would have been too easy, babe.
Yeah. Throw the fade.
So Matt Prater, very reliable place kicker for the Broncos last year, is on for the 24-yard field goal attempt, and it is good. So the Broncos strike first with 9:05 to play in the first quarter. 3-0. Denver leads. Tony Romo and the Cowboys offense take over in a moment. Want to tackle your hunger? Call Papa John's right now. Order the Cowboys Unlimited Combo, a large pizza with unlimited toppings and 2 liters of Pepsi for only $10.99. Papa John's, the official pizza of the Dallas Cowboys. We mentioned it on the opening kickoff. The rules changed this year, Babe Laufenberg, from the 35-yard line instead of the 30-yard line.
Yeah, and another change, Bill, and all in the interest of player safety. Notice the kicking team. They have to be within 5 yards of the ball. So no more lining up 15 yards behind it, getting a running start. Something has to be touching that 30-yard line for the kick coverage team.
And so Matt Prater sends it deep, and 9 yards deep in the end zone. Judging by the first 2 kickoffs we've seen of the preseason, there will not be a kickoff return in 2011 in the NFL. But Tony Romo will play quarterback for the Cowboys in 2011. He takes the field in a moment. Cowboys trail the Broncos 3-0. Just over 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. And the Cowboys on offense now as Tony Romo, who was knocked out in the 6th game of the regular season in 2010, has his team huddled up. A couple of new faces on that offensive line for Dallas as they'll start from their own 20-yard line. But in 5+ games last year, Babe, 1,600 yards throwing and nearly 70% completion rate for Romo from the 20-yard line. And Felix Jones is bottled up just as he gets past the line of scrimmage to the 21 or 22. Miller Lite starting lineups for Dallas. Miller Lite, the Miller Lite aluminum pint, 4 more ounces of that great Pilsner taste. Up front, the rookie David Arkin at left guard, rookie Tyron Smith at right tackle. Kyle Kozar has moved over to right guard just days ago in training camp. Des Bryant at wide receiver along with Miles Austin, the Pro Bowler Jason Witten at tight end. You saw Felix and Chris Gronkowski in the backfield for Dallas on 2nd and long. Under pressure, Romo fires out to Gronkowski. He has a first down to the 32-yard line.
That was Tony Romo's way, Bill, of saying no hard feelings, because the last time Chris Gronkowski and Tony Romo were mentioned in the same sentence, it was Gronkowski who missed the block against the Giants, missed the assignment actually, that ultimately resulted in Tony Romo's broken collarbone. Tony said no hard feelings. Here we go.
So maybe it was by design from Jason Garrett to start off the preseason. Just a little something there. Gronkowski, it's a special night for him. His brother, Dan Gronkowski, plays for the Broncos. First down from the 32-yard line. And from the shotgun, Romo to Witten. And he gets about 5 out to 6 yards to the 38-yard line.
How consistent has Jason Witten been? 94 catches last year, 94 catches the year before. Now, Tony Gonzalez, unfortunately, is setting that tight end receiving record so far out there. It's almost like he's the Jerry Rice of tight ends. I don't know that anybody's going to get there. But Witten is climbing past all the really big names. But Gonzalez with over 1,000 receptions at that tight end position.
And even second all-time as far as the Cowboys are concerned with receptions. That's all receivers, whether wide receivers, tight ends, running backs, you name it. He's second behind Michael Irvin. 2nd and 4 from the 38-yard line, trying to run the football. Felix breaks free into the secondary, into the Broncos end of the field, 44-yard line. Hello, Felix.
Well, and that was not between the tackles, that was between the guards. 18 yards for Felix Jones. A lot of people think of him as an outside runner, and he is. But he can push it up inside. You see, he breaks a couple of tackles here. has that great speed. And it's funny, scoring plays, Bill, ultimately are the result of big plays somewhere during the drive, and Felix Jones can give you a big play.
18-yard pickup for Jones, and they'll give it to him again over right tackle. Who plays right tackle for the Cowboys this year? It's the rookie Tyron Smith, number 77, first-round selection out of Southern Cal, number 9 overall pick for Dallas.
And you see Kyle Kozar standing right next to him here, and as you mentioned, Bill, they moved Kyle Kozar from left guard to right guard because they didn't want to start 2 rookies over there. So Kyle Kozar, to me, one of the really underrated free agent signings that the Cowboys had. Everybody talked about Doug Free on that offensive line. But Kyle Kozar, very smart player, and has been as consistent as anybody on that offensive line over the last 4 years.
From the 40-yard line, screen pass. They've worked on this a lot at training camp, and lots of running room for Felix. The speed down inside the 25, a pickup of 20 more for Felix.
The reason they worked on that screen so much in training camp is I think they've got more versatile offensive linemen, guys that can get out on the edge. When you got Doug Free, he runs well. Tyron Smith runs well. You got Arkin and Costa, so they're a lot more fast, a lot more speedier on that offensive line. They can run those plays.
16 yards on the screen pass to Felix. Jason Garrett's offense is moving the football. Gronkowski in the backfield now. Got Dez to the left, Miles to the right on first down. And not much there at all. The Cowboys have some injuries in the backfield with Tashard Choice and third-round draft pick DeMarco Murray, the rookie out of Oklahoma. So Lanye Miller will get some opportunities running the football a lot tonight.
And as you know, Bill, Lanye Miller has been very impressive. He's impressed the head coach, which is always important because he makes the final decision. But I know Lanye was saying he's going to go over to Felix and say, Felix, there were some big holes when you were out there. What happened to him when I got in? Lanye was licking his chops saying, let me at that defense.
Nothing gained on his first carry of this preseason. Of course, he was with the Cowboys last year, primarily on the practice squad throughout the year. Romo has time, and it goes a little too high for Jason Witten that time. It'll bring up a 3rd and long.
So that's an easy pitch and catch there. It's a ball they usually connect on. Romo and Jason Witten having a little talk here. Just a little simple out route. Man coverage. Now we'll see about holding up in the passing game here. Good test for Tyron Smith over there, right tackle.
We had 2 first-round picks just going at each other there. Tyron Smith and Von Miller, and Tyron stuffed them.
Yeah.
Von Miller, the number 2 overall pick, wears number 58 for the Broncos out of DeSoto High School, just south of Dallas. 3rd and 10 from the 24. Under pressure is Romo, and throws short of Dez Bryant at the 15-yard line, and it's going to be field goal time.
It was Brian Dawkins from the backside here on the blitz. I think he got his hand on Romo's arm as he was throwing it, and the ball ends up in the dirt here. Tony Romo has a word with Dez Bryant. I don't know if he was waiting for a blitz breakoff over there from Dez on the left side of the offense.
Well, Dan Bailey got the first kickoff for the Cowboys, and the first field goal attempt is David Beeler, the 3rd-year veteran, from 42 yards left hash mark, and good. David Beeler is true for his first attempt in what should be a very interesting kicking competition for special teams coach Joe DeCamillis and the Cowboys. We're tied at 3, 4:11 to play in the first. David Beeler connects from 42 yards away, tie this game at 3 with just over 4 minutes to play in the first quarter. 56 yards in 10 plays. A scoring drive brought to you by Ford as the Cowboys knot this one up. So the Broncos went 74 yards on their first drive in 13 plays. Cowboys 56 yards. And Dan Bailey once again with the kickoff. And this one goes 4 yards deep in the end zone. It's going to be run out this time by Cassius Vaughn. And he is hit first by Jesse Hawley and then Kenwin Cummings.
Kenwin Cummings has been hitting people all over camp for the last 2 weeks, Bill, and he puts a big shot on here.
Joe DeCamillis has to like that. Broncos in a hole from their own 14 when we return. A limited amount of season tickets are still available for the 2011 season at Cowboys Stadium. Sales reps are standing by, so call 817-892-4400 to learn more about season tickets. 3-3 game here at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, and in at quarterback for the Denver Broncos is a fellow by the name of Tim Tebow here. Broncos start at their own 14. Cowboys with all reserves in on defense now. Starters are out of the game after one series and stopped in the backfield by Victor Butler, a loss of 2 yards. Let's go back, Babe, to the final play by the Cowboys on the last possession.
Yeah, that third down play. I mentioned Brian Dawkins. If we freeze it right here, watch this. Felix Jones is going to come up, make an outstanding block here on the blitzing linebacker. Jason Witten's lined over here as a fullback. He steps up to take Dawkins. We let it roll. Watch Dawkins, though, on the top of your screen. Just push Witten back into the plyo.
2nd and 12. Tebow swings the pass out to his veteran wideout, David Anderson, and he gets up near the first down. Looks like he's got the first down.
Yeah, it's interesting, Bill, because people talk pass protection. They immediately go to the offensive line. But the other guys are all so involved in it, as we saw last year. Tony Romo getting injured when Chris Gronkowski didn't pick up the right guy. Right there, it's Felix Jones and Jason Witten, vital parts in that pass protection on the blitz. Felix Jones did his job. Jason Witten just didn't get his pad level down, and Dawkins drove him back into Tony Romo.
Jason Witten not calling out for pizza, though he's out of this game right now. 30 or 25-yard line, a first down, and the first completion for Tebow. Tebow will run. That's a designed run play. Gets 3 yards out to the 28.
We were watching Tebow in warm-ups, Bill, and I don't know that I've ever seen a guy throw the ball more inaccurately at this level. And I'm not talking starters. I'm talking 1, 2, 3, 4.
No matter where they are on the depth chart.
No, and I'm not being unkind here, but he was throwing the ball against air. Just receivers throwing routes and skipping balls and high, and his accuracy is really in question.
There have not been rave reviews from Dove Valley in Colorado, where the Broncos work out. Up the middle for nothing there. In fact, another lefty was on the field throwing passes prior to the game, Des Bryant, and he was even at 60 yards downfield. He's got quite the arm.
I was down there in the Alamo Dome, Bill, during the last 2 weeks. He could throw the ball 70 yards. Beautiful spiral, ball turns over. It's almost embarrassing. I mean, he throws the ball better than most quarterbacks.
Did he hit the crossbar like he did in training camp on that 60-yarder?
Did he do it in training camp?
Oh, yeah. He just stood it and just nailed it.
I mean, flat-footed, he threw it 60 yards. Under pressure is Tebow. The pick by Alan Ball, a flag down, and Ball down near the 20-yard line. John Fox motioning interference. We'll see what Terry McCauley says. But the Cowboys did a good job getting pressure on Tebow that time, forcing the interception, but it looks like it may go against the Cowboys.
Pass interference. Defense number 37. Automatic first down.
My question, Bill, did the ball get tipped back in there? It fluttered out, but I don't know if that was because of contact. If we can get another look at it.
Or if it was just a Tebow pass.
Well, yeah, and if the ball is tipped, pass interference is off. We couldn't get, if we have another shot where we can see Tebow's arm, don't know if the ball got tipped or if he just got hit.
And not reviewable either. From the 40-yard line, the 12-yard penalty, first down for Tebow. And the Broncos working the left side, getting a couple of yards. Ori Lemon, rookie out of Oklahoma State, with the tackle.
Here's another look at the play here. Tebow standing in the pocket again. If the ball is tipped, no, just a tackle.
And good pressure from Jason Hatcher once again that time. Hatcher, a guy who was a free agent, and the Cowboys were able to re-sign him. He'll get a real opportunity in much the same role Stephen Bowen was in last year for the Cowboys. From the 42, and under pressure, and finally brought down. First Victor Butler, and then it's Gathers with the sack. They're liking Clifton Gathers.
Victor Butler's had a very good training camp, and Rob Ryan's been moving him all over the defense. But the one thing he has shown him to earn all those different roles as he playing is he can rush the passer, and boy, he just came flying in on that one.
Tim Tebow's a big man. He's going to be a hard man to bring down because he's got him dead to rights here. but Gathers cleans it up. And Mickey's exactly right. Victor Butler has been a guy that, and it's that time. He's got to show a little something. It's time for him to move, and he has through the first 2 weeks of camp.
And now he's lined up as a nose tackle.
Wow, that's that Rob Ryan defense for you.
Makes the tackle.
And on the draw play, only 4 yards picked up on third and very long, and the Broncos will be forced to punt for the first time. Lindell White on the carry there.
That is the end.
Rob Ryan
of the
likes
first quarter.
what he sees out of Victor Butler and others on this Dallas backup defense. We're through one quarter here at Cowboys Stadium. We're all tied up. It's 3-3. The American Airlines players to watch tonight: safety Kwasi Owusu-Ansah and tackle Tyron Smith. Traveled to over 250 cities in 40 countries on American Airlines, the official airlines of your Dallas Cowboys. We've seen Tyron Smith at right tackle on offense. We now see Kwasi Owusu-Ansah as he is back to receive this punt from Britton Colquitt. 4th and long for the Broncos, and he sails it high up near Cowboys vision, and Kwasi is taken down after a return of about 3 yards to the 18-yard line.
Well, that was real close to hitting the screen. I couldn't see from the side if it was angled off, but we haven't seen it since the opening game against Tennessee.
That's exactly
opening
right.
preseason game.
A couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And it looked like he angled it a little bit, judging by where Kwasi Owusu-Ansah fielded that
Personal
punt.
foul, grasping a face mask, kicking team number 43, 15-yard penalty, 4th down.
So push him back 15 yards, and Kwasi will get another chance. They'll re-kick it.
If you guys were down here with me, you could have seen it was angled off to the side.
Okay.
That's why you're down on the
Bird's
field.
eye view, by golly.
Mickey Spagnola roaming the sidelines. We've got Steve Dennis as well. He'll have an opportunity to talk to some Cowboys players as this one goes along. I'm Bill Jones along with Babe Loffenberg, and we're happy you could join us as we kick off 2011. And isn't it nice to have football after an offseason in which nothing was happening any good in the National Football League? It's been a busy couple of weeks on the transaction wire and on the training camp practice field at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. A 15-yard penalty from that face mask, and he angles it again, also high up in the air, and Kwasi with a flag down. Fields, good coverage by the Broncos, but there's a flag down about midfield.
We have 2 flags and a Broncos helmet down on the field.
We're going to have to do it over again.
We'll see if are related, the Broncos helmet and one of these 2 flags.
During the kick, personal foul, low block, receiving team number 25. 15-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down, timeout.
Ross Weaver, the guilty party, and so they'll push the Cowboys back inside their own 20-yard line. John Kitna takes over at quarterback when we come back. This game is brought to you by AT&T. Let the debate end here. AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible. Cowboys and the Broncos from Cowboys Stadium here in Arlington. A 3-3 game as we are early in the second quarter. And John Kitna is in at quarterback for Dallas now. Cowboys had 1 offensive possession in the first quarter. They went 56 yards in 10 plays with Tony Romo at the helm. And Kitna throwing downfield as John Phillips, a pick up to the 31-yard line, 14 yards and a 1st down. Cowboys worked out on their own in the offseason, and Tony Romo is the one who got the guys together. The Sony sounds of the game.
You know, for me, it's just it's a process that's taken shape. When you're a freshman, sophomore in high school, if you're starting quarterback, you can do some stuff, but you can only have so much, say over the seniors and juniors. And as you become that junior and senior, things start to take shape, and that's kind of what's happened around here.
And they were working out at a high school stadium, Dragon Stadium in Southlake, as a matter of fact. And back in May, and Tell you, babe, they had over 40 players at most all the workouts that Romo put together, and other veterans on this team.
Did you attend a practice or two, Bill Jones?
No, I might have.
South Lake resident?
Yeah, I might have snuck into one, actually. Don't tell the players, though. But
you probably
I saw for myself because I wanted to do research for this broadcast just what a leader Tony Romo was.
Did you go in disguise?
He did.
He was. I had sunglasses on.
He was a custodian.
Cap on.
He was a custodian. He had the brooms and the big basket, the bucket, mop.
First, charge timeout.
They did not
Dallas.
see me, but South Lake Carroll head coach Hal Watson did. He said I could stick around because I'm a South Lake guy. All right, Jason Garrett's Cowboys tied up 3-3 early in the second. Now is the time to tour Cowboys Stadium. Get a behind-the-scenes look at Cowboys Stadium with a VIP self-guided or art tour. Stadium tours available during team practice starting on August 14th. For more information and to purchase tours, go to cowboysstadiumtours.com. Call 817-892-TOUR or visit the ticket office here at Cowboys Stadium. Cowboys at the 32-yard line after having to call a timeout, and there's an false start, it would appear.
Kevin
Encroachment. Defense number 99.
That's why you don't jump.
5-yard penalty. Second down.
Ogletree was up in the slot. He didn't seem to be getting set. The Broncos came across. Tyron Smith still in the game, the Cowboys' first-round pick at right tackle. And it appears that he may go the first half, Bill. They want to get him all the work he can. He's the only starter still on the football field.
And, of course, like all the players, but especially for the rookies like Tyron Smith, who is penciled in at starting right tackle right there after having missed the offseason, he needs as much work as possible this preseason. Kitna fires right side high, intended for Kevin Ogletree, and it's going to bring up a third and about 4.
Jason Garrett said he would play some of his young offensive linemen to give as many snaps as possible. Babe mentioned Tyron in there. Now, these guys probably won't be starters when the season starts, but he left Phil Costa in there and their 4th-round draft choice, David Arkin. They need to work.
And, of course, the Cowboys released Leonard Davis and Mark Colombo. Andre Gerard has been out, has not worked out yet in training camp, the starting center. So Phil Costa is getting to go at starting center with the first-team offense. And then there again, there's
neutral zone infraction.
Broncos
defense number 95. Hunter Bader, the quarterback. 5-yard penalty. First down.
There's about 7 who jumped, and Derek Harvey gets pointed out.
Yeah, and that goes to Kitna right there. Kitna got him with the hard count, drew him offside. Perfect time to do it because it gives the Cowboys a first down. We saw this a lot in training camp. Kitna's pretty good with that cadence.
It's not fair as a 30-year veteran against first-year guys, right?
Well, what a job Kitna did last season, coming on after Romo got injured.
And his first 2 starts were a little bit rough, but after that, really settled down, starting with that game at New York after Jason Garrett took over.
First down from the 42, and a completion inside the Broncos end of the field to the 49 to Jesse Holley, Mr. 4th and long, with a first down completion.
And it took a little time for Kitna to settle down, and no matter how long you have played, if you haven't played in a while, you got to shake off some rust. In the first 2 games back, 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. After that, the next 7, before he was injured himself, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions.
And he had not played in a while, did not play at all his first year in Dallas in 2009, and only 4 starts in 08 in Detroit. Lanye Miller, not much there at all as he tries the left side, and left tackle is Jeremy Parnell. And the Cowboys trying to improve in their short yardage offense. Of course, Marion Barber was let go, and they are searching for a short yardage back who can get that first down in situations like that one.
I think they'd like it to be the guy they just handed it to. Lanye Miller, there's Jason Garrett, going to maybe dial it up again. Let's see if Kitna tries to get him again out of the shotgun here with a hard count.
3rd and less than 3, not this time. Kitna fires to Phillips, and a nice defensive play made by the Broncos safety Kyle McCarthy, keeping John Phillips from getting a first down. He's 2 yards short.
It was about a 6-inch route by John Phillips there. I mean, I don't know the design of that.
Kitten had time to throw. The quick little out to his tight end, John Phillips, but it's punt time for Matt McBriar. And David Anderson is deep for the Broncos. Anderson fields at the Bryant's night is over, but a lot of people trying to make it. Time to recognize tonight's Bank of America featured offensive player of the game. Tonight's player is second-year wide receiver Dez Bryant out of Oklahoma State. Football fans, with Bank of America, ATM deposits are as easy as a handoff. No envelope or deposit slip required. Bank of America, member FDIC, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Bryant's night is done. No receptions tonight, but what a rookie season he had with 45 catches a year ago. Broncos on offense from their own 10-yard line with Tim Tebow still at quarterback. And they'll pick up a couple of yards out to muscling forward to the 14.
Dez Bryant, of course, breaking his ankle against Indianapolis last year. He's a guy, though, Bill. Usually players, their ceiling is dictated by their ability. I don't know that this guy really has a ceiling. It's dictated by if he can screw his head down straight.
It looks like it's screwed down straight.
Yeah,
right now.
It's screwed down into his, yeah. But honestly, I don't know that I've seen a guy with his kind of physical ability. It's just amazing. But that would hurt my neck doing that.
I would think so. Second and a long 5 for Tebow. Has time, fires deep downfield. Has Matt Willis. He was on target with that one was Tim Tebow. Inside the Cowboys end of the field to the 42-yard line.
Heck of a throw by Tebow. We get a good look at the wide angle here. Cowboys get caught kind of looking into the backfield. Yeah, it looked like Barry Church is number 42 on the right side of your screen. He's looking in the backfield. Well, the receiver's running by him.
43 yards to Matthew Willis. Danny McCray with the blitz. Doesn't get to Tebow. He gets it out to Brandon Miner, or rather that is Lance Ball inside down to the 30-yard line. It's another first down for Denver, a pickup of 12 more.
Little screen dump pass. Tebow takes a hit at the end of this thing.
And that was Danny McCray, the second-year man out of LSU. And a safety blitz coming from the left side. First down at the 30, I formation behind Tebow. And not much there at all for Lindell White to the 29-yard line.
Now, Tim Tebow's in an interesting spot, too. Last year, the Broncos traded up to get him. But, of course, the guy that really liked him was the head coach, Josh McDaniels. Well, guess what? He's not the head coach anymore.
He's in St. Louis as working with Sam Bradford instead of Tim Tebow.
And Bradford taken ahead of Tebow. Tebow was the second player taken in that draft. Of course, Bradford taken at the top of the draft.
Tebow at number 25 in the first round to the Broncos. Surprised a lot of people that didn't think he would go in the first round. White up the middle near the 25.
Here's the worst part. The guy who's running the football operations for the Denver Broncos now knows a thing or two about what a good quarterback's supposed to look like. His name's John Elway.
Yes, that's among the changes for the Broncos.
Yeah, and you know, since Elway left and led them to back-to-back Super Bowl wins in '97 and '98, the Broncos have won a grand total of 1 playoff game.
Wow, kind of sounds familiar. From the 25.5-yard line. From the shotgun, there's a flag down, and Tebow's going to run up the middle. And he gets an extra couple of yards after contact. Jason Hatcher, or rather that's Victor Butler, who's had a very nice first half.
Illegal shift, off nets, 2 men moving prior to the snap, did not reset. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
We had a very clean first quarter as far as penalties are concerned. And you would expect that there might be more penalties than even the usual first preseason game, considering the fact there was no offseason for any of these teams.
You know, and then there's always rule changes in the offseason. They're really protecting all the players now. They're extending the protection that they've given to defenseless receivers and quarterbacks. They've expanded that. And when you get those new rule changes, typically they want to enforce them to the letter of the law early on, just to let all the teams know, hey, this is what we're going to be calling. So sometimes they go a little overboard just to let the teams know what was acceptable last year is not going to be acceptable this year.
Some points of emphasis.
Interesting decision there, too. The Cowboys, I didn't know if they'd decline it. It was going to bring up a 4th down, but it would have been a 40-yard field goal from that point. Now you give the Broncos a chance here on 3rd and 10 to try to pick up a 1st down again, but you've certainly pushed the field goal attempt back.
From the 31-yard line. From here, say it's an incomplete pass, it'd be a 49-yard field goal attempt. Tebow looks right, won't get the 1st down, but got some of that yardage back to the 24-yard line, and it'll be field goal time again. Matthew Willis on the reception.
Shocking, they blitzed again, and I think he had to get rid of the ball a lot quicker than he wanted to. He might have been able to hold on to it a little longer and let him complete that route, but he had to get it out.
Well, and I think the ball a little bit low, Mickey, and a little bit behind him. If it's out in front, if it's a better pass, could be a 1st down. Would have been a 1st down.
Then maybe the blitz did its job, huh?
Matt Prater from 42 yards. And he is good. The Cowboys had a 42-yarder from Beeler, and now a 42-yarder to go along with a 24-yarder from Matt Prater. 6-3, Jason Garrett, Cowboys trail. Dunkin' Donuts, what's brewing with the Cowboys? The Cowboys have wrapped up training camp in San Antonio. Will be moving practice here to Cowboys Stadium starting on Sunday. Fans coming out to take a tour of Cowboys Stadium over the next 2 weeks. May just see their favorite team in action preparing for the season. Tours of Cowboys Stadium can be purchased by calling 817-892-TOUR or visiting CowboysStadiumTours.com. Make sure you check DallasCowboys.com for the practice schedule at Cowboys Stadium. Some of those practices over the next 2 weeks will take place at Valley Ranch, which will not be open to the public. And so take a tour while the Cowboys are practicing. The first time will be on Sunday afternoon as the Cowboys will take over at the 20 after another touchback. Cowboys football continues in a moment. Cowboys fans, here's your chance to win a fuel-saving Ford Fusion Hybrid. It's easy to do at drivecleanacrosstexas.org. I'm not sure it's that car, but you can win a Ford Fusion Hybrid. Cowboys and the Broncos. Bill Jones with Babe Laufenberg as John Kitna is out of the game now. And to the 3rd-teamer, the Texas Aggies, Stephen McGee is on as the Cowboys start at the 20-yard line. Lanye Miller is the setback behind him, and rolling right and running with the football is Stephen McGee. Did it so well at Texas A&M. There's a late flag, tack on 15, and a pickup of 7 yards, and it'll be
after the
22.
play, personal foul, late hit out of bounds. Defense number 41, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
Cassius Vaughn comes up, and they're going to call that one.
A little over-aggressive.
So Kitna was in for 1 possession. Cowboys managed a couple of 1st downs as he led the team, and now Stephen McGee, of course, he had an opportunity to start the season finale at Philadelphia last year after Kitna went down with an injury. Draw play to Lanye Miller. Tyron Smith is still in the game at right tackle. Jason Garrett talks about the Cowboys' 1st-round pick, our Sony sound of the game.
Well, he's 6'5" and 315. He's got really long arms and heavy hands. He's got great feet. And he plays pretty well on tape. So that was probably the biggest difference than most of the population. But your question's a good one.
It's a good question.
All questions are good ones.
That's because Babe Laufenberg probably asked.
No, I didn't ask it.
Okay. Someone else asked a good question.
The question was, why would you take a 20-year-old tackle?
Oh, Mickey asked the question.
No, I didn't. But I know what the question was.
Because you are ever attentive at Jason Garrett press conferences, and you remember that one. But Tyron Smith, we've seen a glimpse of him tonight here, and you've seen him, Babe, the last couple of weeks at training camp. You know scouts love those 37-inch arms.
Boy, really a physical guy, Bill. And you sit there and you talk to him, and he has a real maturity about him. And you kind of got to do a double take and say, is this kid 20? You know when you realize he's 20? When Kyle Kozar, who was moved to right guard, 10-year veteran, says, you know what, let's go out, get a beer, and we'll go over some stuff. And Tyron says, I can't, I'm 20 years old.
He won't turn 21 until December 12th, so that's when he can go out and get a beer. Stephen McGee is sacked on the safety blitz. It's Kyle McCarthy.
John Phillips is just begging for the football out in the right flat. I think Stephen McGee just missed him. Look at the right side of your screen here. There's Phillips in the right flat just waiting for the ball. I think Stephen McGee missed the blitz. Pretty easy one to see.
Locked in on that left side with Stephen McGee. Did not see the blitz coming.
Now,
David Anderson deep.
Possibility that he thought John Phillips was staying in the block, but it didn't appear that way.
Angling the punt is McGuire, and see where they'll spot it. It's like at the 12.5-yard line. That's where the Broncos will take over on offense. The Pro Bowl punter for the Cowboys, Matt McBriar, has a little competition in training camp, but if there's one player on this team, well, there's about a, how many players?
DeMarcus Ware's job is safe.
Yeah, Romo's job, Dez and Miles.
And people may say, hey, well, why would you go there if you know they got Matt McBriar? But many times those punters and kickers even, they bounce around the league during camp and then finally they get their break, and suddenly they're in a spot where there is a job open.
And Chris Jones is that other punter in camp. And I'm sure we'll see him late in this one. As Tebow hands off to the right side. Now let's run defense up to the task here.
Shoot, matter of fact, Matt McBriar was one of those guys. He was out in Denver.
That's right. 2nd down and 9 for the Broncos here.
Well, the backup punter got his chance in the scrimmage, and I don't know if it's going to be much of a competition after seeing how he punted those first two.
Cowboys had they revived, Jason Garrett revived the blue-white scrimmage on Sunday in San Antonio. That's what Mickey's referring to there. A couple of shanks off the side of the foot. To the 16-yard line, Lance Ball. Set up a 3rd and 7 for the Broncos.
You guys were talking about Tyron Smith. I've been keeping an eye on him, and I'm thinking that the Bronco defensive linemen wish he had gone out for that beer, because they weren't getting around him very much at all. That 37-inch arms were keeping everybody at bay.
And Babe talked about the work ethic. Started at an early age for Tyron Smith. A maturity beyond his years. Tebow under pressure fires, and it's a completion to the 26-yard line. David Anderson, a free agent pickup from the Houston Texans. 1st down Broncos. Let's go down to the sideline. Steve Dennis has a special guest.
Yeah, we got number 9 standing here. Now, it was your first live action since that horrible night way back in October. How comfortable were you?
You know, I was excited to be out here. You know, I just felt like I'd been away for a while, but I felt good. You know, speed of the game wasn't any more than I expected. It's kind of like practice, and you know, move the ball. I wanted to score a touchdown in that series, but you know, we'll get them next time. And it was good to see the guys moving around a little bit. It was nice.
Was there any part of getting back out there that you just knew you had to do and sort of put it behind you before you can move forward? Anything that you were at all worried about?
Well, for me, you know, I try and treat practice with the same tempo, just by myself, no matter what everyone else is doing. You know, with that kind of tempo. And so even if there isn't pressure or whatever, I still go through the same type of quickness through the reads and the process. So, you know, it didn't feel all that different. It's been a good camp for the guys and me, and, you know, we're working hard, and it's just, it's going to be fun to keep going.
That is the 2-minute warning.
Finally, you've been in a groove the last week in camp for you individually. Now camp moves back here to North Texas, here in the stadium. Anything about that different for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because when you break camp there, it's like, well, you're done with us, you know, a part of it, but you go right back in here, and you know, I've always kind of related training camp to to being enjoyable. You know, for me, it's like going to basketball camp when you're a kid. You just get around the guys, and each day you wake up and go play sports. So, you know, I like it. It's enjoyable. I don't know that the D tackles and the offensive linemen quite like it as much as I do, but that's, you know, to be expected, I guess.
All right, Tony, we appreciate the visit, Bill.
All right, and 2-minute warning here at Cowboys Stadium, 6-3. Cowboys and the Broncos. Denver leads at 6-3 as we have now less than 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Bill Jones, Babe Laufenberg, Mickey Spagnola, Steve Dennis. We've got you covered here as the Broncos on 2nd and 9.
Holding, offense number 25, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
So you didn't miss anything right there because it was a holding call against the Broncos. You know, when you got Tony Romo talking at the 2-minute warning, you just go ahead and let him talk. And yeah, we came back a little bit late, but there was a holding call against the Broncos that set them back.
And we talked about Tim Tebow's inaccuracy, Bill Jones, at the top of the broadcast, and he is 5 for 5. That would have been his first incompletion, but the holding call nullifies that.
Boy, I've noticed, though, when they hit him, they put a little extra into it. And it's been Victor Butler twice now.
And on 2nd and very long, they'll run it up the middle to the 20-yard line. 3rd and very long now. There's Manny Ramirez, former Texas Tech Red Raider.
Dallas.
A timeout called by the Cowboys as they want to get the football back with some time left on the clock. We've got 1:41 to play here in the first half, and the Cowboys trailing by 3. Rob Ryan in this defense. What have you seen here in the first half, Babe, that kind of gives you a glimpse of what this defense is going to be like in the regular season?
You know, I think it'll be a long way from what we're seeing tonight,
Right.
Bill, as customary, and probably even more so, again, no offseason, and he's trying to install stuff with guys basically in 2 weeks. And the big thing, too, is you really don't want to get crazy with your blitzes and a lot of stuff early on, because quite honestly, you're just looking to see if guys can man up, beat the guy across from him. He could probably dial up some exotic blitzes, get guys free. What he wants to do is see if guys can whip their man to man.
3rd down 16 for Tebow and the Broncos. He's going to run it, and he's going to get past the 30, short of the first down, and it's going to be punt time for Denver.
Victor Butler does a nice job left side of the Broncos offense. You see him at the bottom of your screen here. He eats up the double team, pushes him right back into the pocket. That's the problem with running the ball. Tebow, you know, he's a good runner. Obviously, he's a big man, but you play 4 quarters of football and you start getting those shoulders pounded 5, 6, 7, 8 times a game. By the 4th quarter, you're not able to lift that shoulder to throw the thing.
Babe, do you think that defenders, when they get up against quarterbacks like that are kind of elusive and they run around, when they finally catch them, they kind of maybe give them the business just a little bit more?
Well, I think, number one, Tebow doesn't, you see, he doesn't slide. He got injured actually last year on a scramble play, I believe. And he's a big man, so you better put a big shot on him to take him down. A lot like Donovan McNabb in a different way, but McNabb was so strong in the legs, you better put a big shot on him to get him to the ground.
Of course, Tebow ran for nearly 3,000 yards in his career at Florida. Here's Dwayne Harris, the rookie out of East Carolina, returning the punt. And lost about 3 yards on the return, but the Cowboys will have an opportunity with 1:19 to play here in the first half from their own 21-yard line with Stephen McGee at quarterback for Dallas, and Tyron Smith will remain in the game at right tackle, playing the whole first half.
And you like to see this, though, Bill, both defensively and offensively. The defense just got out there for a 2-minute drive. Now Stephen McGee gets to operate with 1:19 left in the first half. So all that stuff you work on in training camp, including the 2-minute drill, you now get a chance to work on it in a game.
So a good test here for Stephen McGee, and remember, there's a real competition for the 3rd wide receiver spot on this team. He dumps it off to the tight end, John Phillips. Of course, Phillips was injured in the preseason last year. As
30-second timeout.
Denver calls a timeout with 1:13 left.
It's a strange timeout, is it
Yes,
not?
it is.
They may not have had their right people on the field, yeah. Or you won't see that in the regular season. Guy picks up
7 yards.
7 yards, and we're going to take a timeout
for them. How about the battle for the third wide receiver spot? Kevin Ogletree has what would appear to be a stranglehold on it during training camp behind Des Bryant and Miles Austin. But Cowboys giving an opportunity to a lot of young receivers. Ogletree, number 85, there in the slot to the left side. Jesse Holley is in there, as is Manuel Johnson here. And the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage by Kevin Vickerson, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 3.
The pass was intended for John Phillips, and if you've heard his name quite a bit, the reason is that Martellus Bennett didn't dress for the game. I believe he had a little bit of I believe it was a hamstring. It was kind of tight. It wasn't that bad to keep him out of practice, but I think they decided to go ahead and let him rest and get a couple more days rehab before they go back to practice.
And John Phillips was the man having a great camp last year, Bill. Hurt his knee in the Hall of Fame game.
Had 4
was
catches.
Out for the season, yeah.
4 catches in that Hall of Fame game. And, of course, really showed some things in his rookie season. Cowboys are strong at tight end. That ball is picked off. Going the other way. Parrish Cox, the second-year man out of Oklahoma State, inside the 10, down to the 7-yard line.
It's just a slant to Jesse Holley, left side of the Cowboys offense, and it looked like McGee just led him a little bit to the inside here. You see Jesse Holley up at the outside. May got ducked in. Slot receiver, they may have bumped each other a little bit there coming out. There you see it, Ogletree and Holley. So when Holley gathers his feet a little bit, the ball's thrown out in front of him. So I don't know that you put that all on Stephen McGee there. Those 2 guys don't belong running into each other, Ogletree and Holley.
Yeah, initially it looked like Holley didn't run through the route, but you're right, he got bumped off of it, and that's why he didn't run through the route.
We saw him discussing things with new wide receivers coach Jimmy Robinson, who was at Green Bay the last 6 years, really developing a lot of quality wide receivers. Quarterback draw, Tebow to the outside. There's a flag down as Jason Hatcher.
Offense number 75, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jason Hatcher came running over to Terry McCauley, appealing his case, and sure enough, it is holding against the Broncos, so forget the Tebow celebration.
Yeah, Tebow didn't know that it had been called, even as Terry McCauley's calling it out. He's chest bumping in the end zone. That's a pretty effective play down there for the quarterback. Especially you get man coverage, all the defenders' backs are turned to the ball carrier because they'll be down covering people. You break that initial wall,
it's also,
as he did here, it's Katie bar the door.
Well, and it's also a pretty predictable play with Tim Tebow at quarterback, too. Guy who ran for 57 touchdowns in his college career at Florida. So now they're pushed back 10 yards. Back out to the 17-yard line. Play fake. Tebow with time to throw. Fires left side short of his intended receiver. And it's 2nd down.
But he had him open. That ball just came out real funny. Almost like he was throwing a wet ball. Shouldn't be wet in here.
I can vouch for it. It's dry.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, thank goodness for a roof, right?
That ball just did not spiral.
Yeah, back in the old days at Texas Stadium, we'd be sweltering right now.
And I'd be up there with you guys.
Yeah.
What, you going to refuse to roam the sidelines?
I would need a towel.
2nd down, goal from the 17. Draw play, Lance Ball. And Sean Lissamore out of William and Mary with the stop.
2nd, charge timeout, Denver, 30-second timeout.
43 seconds left in the 2nd quarter as Denver calls a timeout. As they used one with the Cowboys in possession of the football in the final 2 minutes. So at the 14-yard line, it's going to be 3rd and goal from this point. Good test for these reserves for Dallas on defense.
You know, this is almost like the scrimmage we had when they got into the play it out section, where they put up a score, put up a time, put them at a certain yard line and say, okay, go and do it. And unfortunately, they got the interception, but now the defense is kind of in the same situation.
3rd and goal from the 14, and this takes away that Tebow draw play, Bill, that you were talking about, or even a scramble for that matter.
They do have a timeout left. Tebow from the shotgun, and he's going to tuck it and run it. Tries to get to the outside, stays in bounds, now reverses field. Oh, he's wide open.
Can't throw it.
Wide open.
Can't throw it. There's going to be a legal man downfield.
There's a flag down at the 7-yard line. Knocked out of bounds as the clock winds down to 26.
Oh, Danny McCray is hurt really bad. I don't know if you guys can see him.
Yeah, we see him down.
Line.
I can't diagnose him from here, but he is down.
He grabbed his upper shoulder arm. I think he got blindsided. That might be why that flag is there.
Yeah, once Tim Tebow starts scrambling, he's got to know he's got linemen downfield at that point.
And he was over the line of scrimmage.
He had gone past the line of scrimmage and then circled back behind the line of scrimmage.
That was all bad.
Yep. All bad for the Broncos and all bad for Danny McCray right here.
Almost got out of the half without the injury.
Number 40.
It's like he ultimately hits his own man here, Barry Church.
McCray, undrafted player out of LSU last year, really made an impact on special teams.
See, at the end of this play, Danny McCray, number 40, it appears he might have run into Barry Church, his own man here. Now, Bill, I said you can't scramble down here. The area is just too compressed. So you're not going to make 14 yards. I don't care who you are. Tim Tebow tries.
And that's Josh Thomas, the rookie from DeSoto, or rather from Cedar Hill. And
there are 3 fouls in the play on the offense.
3.
Illegal forward pass. Quarterback went beyond the line, came back and threw it behind. That penalty's declined. Illegal block in the back. Offense number 80, that penalty's declined. Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 65, that penalty's also declined. 4th down.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
3 penalties on one play. Wow.
And none of them count.
Look at John Fox. Look at John Fox having a conversation with Tebow.
And that's a shame on Danny McCray. I don't know how seriously injured he is, but they were working him on the first nickel when they went with 6 defensive backs, a guy in each slot, and he was the guy that was on the tight end side.
What's John Fox saying to Tim Tebow?
Run the play I call.
I think he's also saying don't get yourself hurt.
Yep.
Because that's what's going to happen.
Matt Prater trying to kick his 3rd field goal of the first half, and he does that with 23 seconds left here in the first half. Cowboys now trail it 9-3. 26-yarder for Prater. He also has a 24-yarder and a 42-yarder.
Field goal fest.
Yes,
has
it
broken
is.
Out here.
A total of 4. Matt Prater, very reliable place kicker for the Broncos, comes through again. He has been automatic. And Stephen McGee won't have any time left.
Here comes another kickoff. There's going to be. We've had what? 3. We've had 4
kickoffs.
1 was returned 5 yards deep, and that went to the 13, which they're going to tell him, look, next time you catch it 5 yards deep, take a knee. The kickoff return is a weapon. I think he's going to leave the NFL with this ball placed at the 35. Maybe when you get later in the year and you start playing those cold weather cities, New York and Chicago, and you're kicking into the wind, there'll be more returns. But I think the early part of the season, through the first 8 to 10 weeks, I don't think, if you like to see kickoff returns, I think that's the time to go get your beer.
I'm bored with the rule already.
Yeah, it's almost like an intentional walk. Well, you just have to sit. Okay, you know what's going to happen, but they've got to go through the motion of throwing 4 pitches outside.
Okay, this is interesting. He kicked that ball over the net and went into the crowd. Well, it's one of the official kicking balls. So they made him throw the ball back, and they gave him a replacement souvenir.
A line drive this time, returnable for Dwayne Harris. And Harris out past the 30-yard line. He was terrific on special teams at East Carolina and on offense at East Carolina. And he showed some of that burst up the middle that time.
I don't know if he intentionally kind of squibbed it. I don't know why you would do that, because you've kicked every one out to where the Cowboys have started on the 20. He may have just mishit it. I would hope so.
Unless the coaches wanted him to do it so he can grade some kick coverage.
Well, the other problem with that is it's going to lull you to sleep, as Stephen McGee's going to just take a knee here. It's going to lull your kicking team to sleep. You're in a game, 4 or 5 kickoffs. get touchbacks, suddenly you say, well, I don't need to motor down there. Then that's the one that gets returned on you.
All right, so Stephen McGee takes the knee, and that will end the first half as the Cowboys trail the Broncos 9-3. We've got Jerry Jones in the booth here. He'll talk with Babe Laufenberg when we come back. But now
That is
this
the end
from your
of the first
local
half.
station.
I wonder if we're going to see Tebow here in the second half. But he's going to take a beating if he continues to play that way. I know he's got a pretty reckless, abandoned style, but you just, especially that last play, that scramble, and I know that's what John Fox was talking to him about. The head coach had both hands on Tebow's shoulders saying, look, you're not going to make it in this league when you keep battling people there. Yeah. Get your yards, get down, we'll kick a field goal.
Well, Tebow is such a competitive player, but rough around the edges, I would say, as he makes the transition into the NFL. Of course, he did start 3 games last year, so he had an opportunity in regular season action.
And again, his biggest supporter was Josh McDaniels, the head coach. He's the guy that traded up to get him. And when that guy leaves, especially with the, we'll call it kind of unique style that Tebow is, there's going to be people that like him and people that don't. You better hope that the guy that likes you is your head coach.
Raymond Radway out of Abilene Christian is deep to field the kickoff to start the second half here. Takes it a couple of yards deep in the end zone. This guy is fast. Doesn't have a real opportunity to show off that speed. There is a flag down. It's one of the things on these kickoffs as he moved the...
During the return, illegal block in the back, receiving team number 55. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Mike Ballaghan, linebacker out of Oklahoma, was guilty of the block in the back right there.
Joe DeCamillis, Cowboys special teams coach, he has probably the toughest job of any coach. Because number one, you've got a whole bunch of people out that maybe have never done this before. Number two, the groups of moving guys in and out. You know, basically when you say, hey, first team offense, second team offense, pretty easy, but guys are shuffling in and out on these return teams. There's Joe DeCamillis. I think he has the toughest job when the season starts too, because everybody else gets to keep the guys they want. The position coaches say, I want this guy and this guy and this guy. He takes the guys they want and turns them into special teamers.
Lanye Miller up the middle gets nothing as Stephen McGee back in there at quarterback. Wasn't a good first half for Joe DeCamillis either when you look at the injury suffered by Danny McCray, who was a pretty good special teams player for the Cowboys last year.
I would say it wasn't a good offseason. They lost Sam Hurt, one of their best, if not their best, special teams players. He, of course, went to Chicago in free agency. And it's interesting, you know, you get 2 or 3 really, really good special teams guys, and they can take care of the rest of the 8.
And that's what this preseason is going to be a battle for Joe DeCamillis, trying to find some players. Flushed out is McGee. And he'll throw it away on the far sideline. And it's going to be 3rd down and 10 for Dallas.
They never really looked quite right from the get-go. Fake handoff, there wasn't really a fake handoff on a draw, and McGee gets flushed out of the back of the pocket. I thought he did a better job of that as the season progressed last year in the preseason, and then of course when he got to play in the last couple of games of stepping back up into the pocket. But when you go out the back of the pocket, it really makes it difficult. Number one, you can't outrun people like you could in college when you have the starters out there. Number two, the yards are to be made back up inside, dig back up inside the pocket, and that's where your protection is as well.
Talk about Tebow's running ability as McGee has time this time. And there's Kevin Ogletree, and there's a first down for Dallas. Tebow ran for 3,000 yards in his college career. Well, Stephen McGee ran for 1,500 yards in his college career.
Good athlete, and I think his accuracy is improving. This is a ball I think he'd like to get off a tick earlier. Kevin Ogletree's in the slot at the top of your screen here. McGee has to kind of wait till he gets freeze back up, but just a little more anticipation there. And that's something they're working with him. Right there, get the ball into the hole. See, you see Ogletree's open for a long time. Nice job by Ogletree and McGee, though, of being on the same page, reading it. Ogletree bouncing his way back to the outside.
So first down for Dallas. A little bit of breathing room here. Rolling right is McGee. And fires down the sideline, incomplete. And And there's Ogletree again. Ogletree's a guy you've liked ever since you saw him for the first time, babe.
I've liked him. He's sort of plateaued a little bit. You know, he's one of those guys that I think his focus tends to wane maybe from time to time, but I do think he's very talented. And let's face it, the job is there for the taking right now. That third receiver position, they're in desperate need of finding a third receiver right now. They'd like for it to be him because he's got some experience. Behind him, there's very, very little.
Lots of inexperience. And of course, Ogletree's just a third-year guy himself, is working the right side.
It was a shame he got hurt last year, Bill. He played some and caught 3 balls, and he got injured, lost the latter third of the season to injury as well. And it was a time where he might have been able to pick it up just a little bit. Didn't get that opportunity.
And of course, the Cowboys decided to release Roy Williams just as training camp was beginning. Sam Hurd left in free agency. Both of them went to Chicago, as did Marion Barber. And there's early
False
movement.
start, offense number 78. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Jeremy Parnell, the right tackle, or the left tackle.
You don't like 3rd and 9, you like 3rd and 14 a little less.
Especially backed up inside your own 20-yard line.
No, it was the Denver Broncos against the Denver Broncos when Roy Williams got hurt, injured his ribs, went down the middle of the field, got hit by a linebacker, and that launched the career of Miles Austin.
Right.
So you might say that was almost his greatest contribution, because the next week Miles Austin goes for 250 yards, gets an NFL record for a first start by a wide receiver.
McGee steps up. There is a flag down in the secondary as McGee has the 25.
And there's a nice job by McGee of picking his way back up into the pocket. Again, it's going to be hard, unless you're Michael Vick, to run for 14
Illegal
yards.
contact, defense number 32. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the play. Automatic 1st down.
Penalty goes against Parrish Cox, who had that interception, setting up the field goal to end the first half.
How about that? Automatic first. Okay, now remember, this time he pushes up, helps his tackle out. Now at the end of this, he's got to get down. He's not going to make a 1st down, and you just take too much punishment. You're not going to break 3 tackles. And again, the other thing, that's where you get those shoulder injuries. But a nice job there of stepping back up into the pocket, picking his way through. Even if you just pick up 7 or 8 yards for your punt team, it's almost like picking up a 1st down.
And they pick up the 1st down by penalty at the 31. Lanye Miller working the right side.
And I know everybody, all the Cowboy fans that either go to DallasCowboys.com, listen to local radio shows. Lanye Miller has been kind of the talk of camp. And right now they're saying, we're not seeing it. But he has had nowhere to run. 8 carries for Lanye Miller, 10 yards.
Lanye Miller also performed for the Cowboys in the preseason last year. You see his numbers his senior year at Fresno State. He played behind Ryan Matthews, who was a 1st-round draft pick of the San Diego Chargers. But he did get an opportunity earlier in his career to rack up some yardage and saw enough for the Cowboys to sign him. McGee fires to the left side. Ogletree loses his helmet, but has a 1st down. And Jason Garrett talks about that 2nd-year running back Lanye Miller. Your Sony's sound of the game.
When we first got Lanye, it was hard not to like his physical ability. He's a big kid. He can run, and we saw all of that. But as he's progressed in our system, he's really grown a lot. I think particularly from the middle of last year on, he got an opportunity to play a little bit at the end of the last year, was showing up on special teams, and then he's come back this year, really a much more mature player.
So the Cowboys with their 2nd possession, or 2nd 1st down of this possession, and Stephen McGee will throw it out of bounds under pressure. Threw that ball away and had to heave it about 40 yards downfield to get it out of bounds.
That ball was closer to me than Manny Johnson.
Mickey Spagnola, where are you?
I was at about the 25-yard line on the Cowboys sideline. By the fans over there, okay?
That's a strong throw. I'll say that, off your back foot under pressure.
Right.
But yeah, usually you don't want to ground the ball, but he was still in the pocket. Trying to pick out a guy 40 yards downfield can be a little difficult. You like him to be a lot closer, but he didn't have that option.
Lanye Miller now on the sidelines. He has 8 carries for 10 yards. Philip Tanner in at running back, and Tanner with his first carry. Man out of Dallas Kimball High School in Middle Tennessee State picks up 6 yards. It'll be 3rd and 4.
All right, John Elway, the man who's now again in charge of the Denver Broncos. He said they pay me for 3rd downs. And here's 3rd down. And this is what they pay you for.
Let's see if the Cowboys number 7 can do something like
if you're going to have
Hall of Famer number 7.
Excuse me, Bill. If you're going to have those drives, you're going to stack up 3, 4, 5 3rd down situations where you've got to complete balls, be able to just put your foot in the ground and complete a pass. That's where Stephen McGee is right here.
He lofts it to the right side, incomplete, and wound up on his backside.
Not great protection there for him, and he's getting up. Looks
he's
like
feeling it too.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's why you don't want to take those unnecessary hits. You're going to take enough hits as a quarterback back in the pocket here.
That's Kyle McCarthy, the safety, who once again puts pressure on the quarterback.
And a very poor job there by Tanner of picking up the blitz.
Boy, McBriar, or rather Chris Jones, angling that thing. Otherwise, it might have hit the Cowboys' vision. Chris Jones with the punt, and the Broncos inside their own 20-yard line at the 19 will take over. They lead the Cowboys 9-3 with 9:19 to play in the 3rd. Now is the time to tour Cowboys Stadium. Get a behind-the-scenes look at Cowboys Stadium with a VIP, self-guided, or art tour. Stadium tour is available during team practice starting on Sunday. For more information and to purchase tours, go to cowboysstadiumtours.com, call 817-892-TOUR, or visit the ticket office at Cowboys Stadium. Tim Tebow out of the game now, and Brady Quinn is the new quarterback for the Broncos, working against the Cowboys backups on defense. And Kenwin Cummings on the tackle for Dallas. At 5 yards, it'll be 2nd down and 5. Brady Quinn started his career after being picked in the 1st round by the Cleveland Browns, a pick that they got from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, he was taken at number 22 in that draft. A lot of people thought, well, the Cowboys need to draft him. I was not one of them. But now you could have had him if you wanted him.
Off the hands of Dan Gronkowski with Cummings covering. And we'll go down to the sidelines. Farmers Insurance Injury Report. Get to know a Farmers agent. Call 800-FARMERS or visit farmers.com. Steve Dennis standing by. Steve.
Hey, Bill, I can update a couple of things. Safety Danny McRae did have x-rays on his left shoulder. They're waiting for those results. He went inside immediately after the play, carrying his left arm as if it were in a sling. And as far as Martellus Bennett is concerned, Mickey was exactly right earlier. He tweaked the hamstring a couple of days ago, and he didn't suit tonight just for precautionary reasons.
And now 3rd down and 5. By the way, Steve Dennis, before you get away here, as Brady Quinn will throw downfield, and Andrew Sendejo almost had an opportunity for an interception. Steve Dennis, you weren't one of those who thought the Cowboys should draft Brady Quinn, right?
I did not think the Cowboys should draft Brady Quinn. Are you guys discussing that?
Yes, we're discussing that.
No, I don't. You know, I have a bad memory, Bill, but I'm pretty sure that I didn't. I'm pretty sure I didn't like that idea.
I think he has a bad memory.
That's the reason I asked you. My cohort up here in the booth has a different memory of that, Steve Dennis.
Did he say that I did want him to take Brady Quinn?
No, I didn't, but you did.
I told you I had a bad memory. They should have taken Brady Quinn.
The punt taken by Dwayne Hare, or rather that is a Kwesi Owusu-Ansah.
Steve's like most people. He doesn't have a bad memory. You have a selective memory.
That's right. That's right. I'd be like that too. But wouldn't want to accuse Steve of something that he did not do. 9-3, Denver leads Dallas here in the 3rd. Real Cowboys fans have customized team license plates. Visit myplates.com for details on how to show your true colors everywhere you go. We're happy you could join us for preseason game number 1 here at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington. Bill Jones with Babe Laufenberg. We've got Steve Dennis on the sideline. We've got Mickey Spagnola as well. full team coverage. 36-yard line, Stephen McGee running with that football. Has some yardage and enough for a first down. Out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Of course, Jason Garrett starting his first full year as the Cowboys head coach. Jason Witten on that topic, our Sony sounds of the game.
I think you see firsthand how important accountability is and just the standard of what we're going to be about. So we have goals, we have expectations, but at the same time, he does an amazing job of getting us to focus on today and being our best. And so going about it that way gives you your best chance to win. Just excited to play for him.
First down from the 47, and Lanye Miller on the toss right gets maybe a yard. How about what you've seen out of Jason Garrett as a head coach in practices that the media has been able to watch down in San Antonio, which is all of the practices down there, but this is really our first opportunity to see him working the team.
I think the big thing, Bill, is the tempo of practice, the tempo that they play with, the tempo that they go from drill to drill. There's not a lot of grass killing. I understand it's an artificial surface down there, but you always say, hey, quit killing the grass. You know, the guys are just ambling around like cows, and there's a lot of obviously definition and energy to the practices that he's had. Of course, it's been a little different with the hour walkthrough in the morning.
Of course, they have to be different because of the new collective bargaining agreement and the limited amount of practice time during training camp. How about you, Mickey Spagnola, on the sideline? What sticks out for you as far as a Jason Garrett run practice?
There seems to be a kind of a renewed rejuvenation of spirit. I just don't feel like they're dragging through practice, and I think Babe's right. It's crisp, things are moving, and it's not to say that they weren't organized before, but there's a different feeling out there that what's going on instead of we're going through training camp. And maybe it's because there's so much competition at a lot of the different positions.
Nice grab, Tyson Poots. Wow, the rookie out of Southern Utah who was signed after training camp began. Yes, the name is Tyson Poots.
I was going to ask you to repeat it just to make sure.
285 career receptions at Southern Utah, and this is about as good as you see here. That's not an easy catch on that slant to go ahead and pick the ball up off the ground effectively.
6'2", 214 pounds, had 43 touchdowns in his career at Southern Utah.
Biggest thing that keeps the drive alive there. Well, for Stephen McGee, another 3 plays, maybe another 3 after that.
Yep, get into a rhythm here. Cowboys in Denver's into the field at the 43. McGee with time has Dwayne Harris down the near sideline. It's a first down inside the 20 at the 17.
Real good job by Stephen McGee this time. Comes back, you see, just hits the back foot, one hitch, gets it off. Nice throw. That's the way he's got to operate. And I know the one thing that the Cowboy coaches, since McGee has been here, is get the ball out of your hands, get the ball out of your hands. And in college, you throw the ball when the guy's open. In the pros, you have to anticipate him being open, and you throw it before the break. I think with Romo, actually, Bill, they had to slow him down a little bit. He wants to go through those progressions so quickly. And with McGee, they got to speed him up a bit.
Philip Tanner, nothing there. 2nd and 10. That was a 26-yard completion.
Who certainly helps himself out doing that with the kickoff return, because, you know, he's battling for that either 4th or 5th wide receiver spot, and he's got to show up in these games. He's had an okay training camp. They really wanted to see him on kickoff returns, but unfortunately, when you're kicking the ball out of the end zone all the time, these guys don't get much of a chance.
Yeah, he did have the opportunity, got it out to the 33-yard line on his one chance tonight on kickoff returns. Boy, he was a Conference USA Special Teams Player of the Year his junior year, and the Offensive Player of the Year his senior year at East Carolina. And scrambling for extra yardage, trying to get to that first down stake is Dwayne Harris.
Nice catch here, and again, a real good throw by McGee. Unlike the throw to Tyson Poots where it was low and he had the hands catch it, you want it right splitting that 1 and 4. Perfect. And this kid's a physical kid now.
I had a friend
think about it.
Sorry about that. I had a friend cover a game that they played. East Carolina played at Southern Mississippi, and he told me after the game, or after the Cowboys drafted him, that the coaches over there said after East Carolina went and beat Southern Mississippi that this guy beat him single-handedly. They couldn't deal with him as a receiver and as a returner.
showing some things in his first professional preseason game. On the run, Stephen McGee to the end zone, and that's a touchdown for Raymond Radway. What a story Raymond Radway is.
Out of North McKinney High School, I said, how many family and friends will be watching? And he said, all of them. Played just 2 years of football at Abilene Christian. He's a 400-meter guy. Now, unlike the other bootleg where Stephen McGee had a defender in his face the entire way, this bootleg comes out and it's the way it should be. It comes clean. Radway just comes across. I always like it when guys put their hand up like that. Like, you know, hey, we know you're going to be there. Just keep running. That's slowing you down.
And the extra point by Beeler is good. Cowboys have their first touchdown of the preseason, and it's Raymond Radway, who didn't play football for 4 years. Finally, 2 years ago, he started playing football again for Abilene Christian, and he has a touchdown in his first NFL preseason game. Cowboys lead at 10-9, 4:09 to play in the third. The New York Life Protection Index measures a team's ability to protect the quarterback. Last year, while the Colts were ranked first, the Cowboys were ranked 10th. The addition of Tyron Smith should help improve this rating. Follow all year to see how well Tony Romo is protected at NewYorkLife.com/protection index. How about that? Another touchback on a kickoff.
This is going to be boring, isn't it?
You know, one of the reasons Bailey's taken all the kickoffs is Joe wanted him to show what he could do. He thought maybe they'd get some returns, you know, but not so much.
We know what Beeler can do. We've got another break here, 10-9 Dallas. Stephen McGee leads that Ford scoring drive. 64 yards, 8 plays, touchdown pass to Raymond Radway. Ford, official vehicles of the Dallas Cowboys. Ford is the best in Texas. And after the touchback on the ensuing kickoff, Denver takes over at the 20-yard line. But Brady Quinn stumbles out of center, gets the football to his running back, Brandon Minor. And it's a pickup of 1 yard.
My guess is he got stepped on. Stepped on or tripped up by one of his linemen. Usually quarterbacks are good enough athletes that they don't stumble over their own feet. But you get some of those linemen in there with those size 17s stepping back into the backfield, they can get you.
So 2nd and 10 for Brady Quinn. Cleanly away from center this time, and not much there. Out to the 24-yard line. How about this Rob Ryan defense? Brady James talks about it in our Sony Sounds of the Game.
Excitement. The fans will see a lot of excitement and guys making plays all over the place. Just sit back and then, you know, buy you some popcorn and enjoy it.
Get your popcorn ready. Rob Ryan is in the house.
And he also learned how far he can go down the sideline because he got down too far on that first drive and he couldn't call in the play because the wireless kind of went out in Brady James' helmet.
Quinn over the middle. There's a flag down in the secondary. Wow, that's something, that the wireless doesn't work if you get out of the coaching box.
He was way down there too.
It's a first down, but there is a penalty down. Or it would be a first down.
Pass interference, offense number 85, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's the rookie out of Nevada, Virgil Green, 7th-round draft pick. Had the catch, but he pushed off to get the catch, and it's going to push the Broncos back.
That's one way to get separation. Actually, Broncos took a 4th-rounder, Julius Thomas, for a tight end. There's a push right in the middle there, getting that separation. They'll let you get the shoulder into the guy, but as soon as you extend, it's just an easy call to make. As soon as that hand extends and that elbow straightens out.
Kind of like a push-off in basketball.
Exactly.
And Virgil Green might have some basketball in his background. I know Julius Thomas, that other tight end, does out of Portland State. Pass over the middle is complete, but not enough for the first down, so the punt unit will come on.
And in the draft, the Broncos went after defense, and they may get 3 starters out of it. Von Miller, I think I'll be shocked if he's not a Really, really good player. I mean, a Pro Bowl player year in and year out. Of course, they will be too. They took him with the second pick of the draft. They got Nate Irving in the 3rd round. He may be their starting middle linebacker. And Raheem Moore is already their starting free safety out of UCLA.
Took another safety, Quentin Carter, in the 4th round also. Dwayne Harris back inside the 20-yard line, puts a move on, backtracks about 5 yards, and that's where he goes down. Trying to make a play.
You can dodge 1, maybe 2, but typically not 3.
And so the Cowboys will start deep in their own end of the field, leading it 10-9. America featured defensive player of the game is Sean Lee, the 2nd-round pick last year out of Penn State. Football fans, with Bank of America, ATM deposits are as easy as a handoff. No envelope or deposit slip required. Bank of America, member FDIC, official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Sean Lee and the first-team defense was in there for just the first possession of this game, with Kyle Orton at quarterback for the Broncos. Cowboys expecting big things out of Sean Lee in his 2nd year in the league. And he started tonight because Keith Brooking has been out. How about Philip Tanner, the rookie out of Middle Tennessee State? Might have a first down.
He does have a first down, and he's got a heck of a run here. Little pinball bowling ball. We saw earlier, didn't do a great job of picking up the blitz, but does a great job of running the football between the tackles here. And Denver was loaded up to stop the run here. Playing run defense right now.
He got 11 yards in the first down. Fights back to the line of scrimmage this time.
Cowboys are going with a 2 tight end, 2 back set, just 1 wide receiver. Now they switch that up, go more traditional, but they can sit there if they want to throw routes on the outside. They're getting a lot of single coverage.
Broncos have a former Cowboy, Nate Jones, playing right cornerback. Dwayne Harris is out to the left side. Stephen McGee this time. Raymond Radway to the right. And looking left, throwing out of the backfield, Sean Chappis, 7th-round draft pick out of Georgia, the fullback, competing with Chris Gronkowski for that fullback job.
Ball thrown a little behind him. That's a tough angle coming out of the backfield here for McGee and Chappis. And the other thing, those fullbacks, they're not as adept. They're padded up more in the shoulders, obviously, to take on linebackers. Trying to turn their upper body back for a football is difficult. Unless your name is Daryl Johnston.
Yep. And Jason Garrett looking for another moose to put back in that back.
There'll never be another one like him. And I hope he's listening.
He is. He's back in that NFL Network studio. He's probably listening right now, doing live look-ins around the league. And under pressure, and down goes Stephen McGee this time. Jason Hunter makes the sack of McGee.
That's the trouble about being that 3rd quarterback. You're in there with a lot of guys that don't do a heck of a job of protection for you.
And we are through 3 quarters of play. Jason Garrett's Cowboys lead 10-9. Watch the Cowboys play live at Cowboys Stadium. Single game tickets and party passes are available for all 2011 home games. Go to Ticketmaster.com or by calling 1-800-745-3000. Cowboys regular season opener will be on Monday night, September 26th, when the Washington Redskins come to town. Cowboys actually play their first 2 regular season games on the road at the Jets and at the 49ers. Chris Jones with the punt. Parrish Cox with the return. Has to make a spin move at the 47-yard line. Brought down at that point. Chris Randall, rookie cornerback out of Utah State, in on the stop. And Broncos take over on offense at the 47. See a flag down? Is that?
Terry McCauley's going to tell us something here.
Yep.
He looks like the Scarecrow in The Wizard of Oz. This way, this way.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, kicking team. Number 23 went out of bounds and stayed out of bounds, did not return immediately. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
Wow, that's a tough on Tashard Choice. Number 23, he said?
Yes.
Timeout.
Deshaun Joyce isn't active for this game. He's been hurt. Supposed to return to practice on Saturday at Valley Ranch. Cowboys lead it by a point. Check out DallasCowboys.com and the new Dallas Cowboys official iPhone app for up-to-the-minute news. DallasCowboys.com, powered by Neospire Managed Hosting. All Cowboys, all day, every day. Great evening for football here in Arlington. Cowboys lead the Broncos 10-9 as we are early in the fourth quarter. Brady Quinn, third quarterback of the night for Denver. As the Broncos start off in Dallas territory at the 39 and firing over the middle. Pass is complete and inside the 10-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 13 instead. Mark Dell on the receiving end, and that's the rookie Josh Thomas who is hurting.
Yeah, he's down. He's got himself back up now. Just a little post move up top here. Josh Thomas tries to break on the ball. I think it's his own man there. Was it Sendejo coming over? No. Might have taken the shot at the end of it.
Colin Zitch.
Yeah, it was Zitch. Sendejo made the tackle at the end.
But the Broncos threaten down at the 13-yard line as Josh Thomas gets back to his feet. We'll take a timeout here at Cowboys Stadium. Cowboys up 1. Cowboys lead the Broncos 10-9. SteinerSports.com is where you can find the latest game-used equipment. Steiner Sports, the official game-used equipment provider of the Dallas Cowboys. And a Steiner Sports call to the sidelines and Mickey Spagnola.
I was getting an update on Danny McRae as Steve Dennis was giving you the update. And further update is he got hit in the scapula from behind. They're worried about his ribs, and the x-rays were clean though, so he's back on the bench. We'll see just how bruised those back ribs are, and I believe there was a touchdown when I was standing with my back to the field.
Yes, we are observing that touchdown and the celebration right now, Mickey Spagnola, as Jeremiah Johnson has scored for the Broncos, and he's very happy, and you know his eyes lit up when he saw that hole through the right side.
And see, I got eyes behind my back.
The Broncos have the lead at 15-10 with the extra point here, making it 16-10 in favor of the Broncos. So the Broncos come right back with a short field and go 39 yards in just a couple of plays to score. 26-yard pass, then a 13-yard run by Jeremiah Johnson. The Cowboys have some catching up to do. Broncos lead the Cowboys 16-10 with just over 14 minutes to play in this, the first preseason game of 2011. Bill Jones with Babe Loffenberg. We got Mickey Spagnola and Steve Dennis on the sideline. Stephen Hauschka with the kickoff that sends Raymond Radway 6 or 7 yards deep in the end zone. He'll take a knee, and the Cowboys will start at their own 20-yard line. And we'll have to do the math on how many touchbacks there have been tonight. There have been a whole bunch.
Well, David Beeler was best in the NFL 2 years ago, and 38% of his kicks were touchbacks. Last year, 27% of his kicks were touchbacks. I think in large part, Bill, due to the fact that he added the field goal responsibilities. So I think while he was working on field goals, he wasn't just able to concentrate on the strictly kicking off aspect of it, but I'm not so sure that he wouldn't be about 90%. Beeler.
From the 20, Stephen McGee at quarterback. Has a lot of time. As Sean Chappis, the fullback, the rookie 7th-round draft pick to the 24-yard line, the 2nd down and 6. Hey, Babe, let's look in the Dallas Cowboys radio broadcast booth. And who is subbing? It takes 2 to sub for Babe Loffenberg alongside the voice of the Cowboys, Brad Shamp. It takes a Pro Football Hall of Famer,
That would be
Randy
that man right there, Andy White. Yep.
And it takes Coach Joe.
And that would be Coach Joe. Is that him down there? Yeah, he's hiding behind the monitor.
Randy is much taller than Coach Joe. He's larger than life. Philip Tanner trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd and 6 or so.
Hall of Famer Randy White, Ring of Honor member Randy White, a man I don't want to tangle with, Randy White. Randy may be 78, and you still would look at him and go, I don't think I want to mess with that guy.
You know what? I think he could hold his own on that defensive line today, some 22 years after he retired. Retired in 1989, Pro Football Hall of Fame, first ballot 1994.
What a great, great player.
3rd and 6 from the 24.
There he goes.
Running room for Dwayne Harris. Showing that speed. Dwayne Harris has a touchdown.
He's got a 76-yard touchdown. Short throw, big run.
That's some yards after catch for Dwayne Harris.
And let me tell you, Dwayne Harris got an earful earlier on a 3rd down play from Jason Garrett, the head coach. He was running a crossing pattern, never got across the face of the defender. That's when Stephen McGee ended up having to throw the ball away. They ended up having to punt the football. This time, Dwayne Harris gets across. A little confusion in the Broncos secondary, and it's off to the races.
Got a nice block from Martin Rucker, the tight end, that helped spring him. And a bad snap from center, and falling on it is Bailey, so no chance for the point after. And lo and behold, with that, we are tied 16-16 with 12.5 minutes to play in this football game. Dwayne Harris, 76 yards to pay dirt. Pop star Taylor Swift is bringing her Speak Now World Tour to Cowboys Stadium for a performance on Saturday, October 8th at 7 p.m. Tickets are available at Ticketmaster.com or by calling 1-800-745-3000. That's Saturday, October 8th, Taylor Swift here at Cowboys Stadium. That's Texas OU weekend. The football game at the Cotton Bowl is at 11 in the morning. And watch Taylor Swift on Saturday night, October 8th, here at Cowboys Stadium. Kickoff is returned this time, and he got to where a touchback would have put the Broncos, at the 20-yard line.
And I'm telling you that these kickoffs are going to lull defenders to sleep. You go down, you cover 4, 5, 6. They don't get returned, and all of a sudden, out he comes.
The Ford Dallas scoring drive capped by the 76-yard sprint by Dwayne Harris, 80 yards in 3 plays.
You know, babe, Joe DeCamillis was saying before the game that last year they had so many touchbacks in preseason, he didn't know if they could cover a kick. And if you remember early in the year, they had trouble covering kicks.
Brady Quinn still in there at quarterback. And from the 21-yard line, a pickup of 6 yards. That's Jamel Hemler on the receiving end of the Quinn pass.
Of course, the other thing about that, Mickey, you can simulate to a certain extent a lot of things that happen in a game, but you can't simulate kickoffs and kickoff returns because you're never going full speed like that in practice.
Yeah, and you don't want big collisions and, you know, nailing your own guy in practice like that who's ever returning it. So, yeah, it's just a hard thing to practice, but you need to do it in the games, and, well, I don't know, maybe you won't get any.
Yeah, I think the NFL Players Association would haul them back into court if they found out they were going full speed kickoff team.
2nd down and 4. Jeremiah Johnson working the right side again, bounces outside, and he cannot get the first down. Cowboys with reserves, and there have been a number of players. That's Colin Zitch right there, the safety out of Harvard and Plano East High School, who's in on that stop.
Out of where?
Harvard and Plano East High School. Yes, he's a graduate of Harvard.
I talked to him. I said, have you gone to the head coach, being Jason Garrett, and relived your Ivy League experiences? And he said, no, we've owned them. They won 4 straight times when he was there. Harvard beat Princeton. So he said, the coach really hasn't had a lot to say about that.
Johnson gets the first down. Mike Balligan, it's a free agent pickup in the offseason, makes the stop. He's out of Oklahoma. There's a Bronco player who's down. And a whistle and the training staff will come on for the Broncos here.
Colin Zitch was working for an investment banking firm here in Dallas and did not get signed until right before camp. If you recall, they held the draft, but they couldn't sign free agents, college free agents at that time. So he basically went to work as an investment banker here with a firm in Dallas, telling them, hey, you know, if I get signed, I'm going to want to go back and play football. I'm sure they took one look at him. He's about 5'9". When they said, and being an investment banker, right, you go with the odds. And I think they hedged their bet and said, you know what, I think this guy is going to be with us for a while. Walked in the door and said, Dallas Cowboys called me. As a matter of fact, he was working out. He said he'd get up at 4:30 in the morning. He's putting in 12-hour days at the investment banking firm. Okay, 16 hours. How's that? I don't want those people to get upset with him. But he was getting up at 4:30, working out, then going into work. And he said, I was exhausted by the end of the day.
Well,
if you make the team, though, that investment banking comes in handy.
That's right.
Know how to handle your own money.
Taking a leave of absence from that job right now, hoping to earn a new job right here. Colin Zitch. Economics degree from Harvard.
Think he's having trouble grasping the concepts of the defense? I don't think so. Probably 2 days in, he's like, Rob, don't worry, I got it. You want me to teach it?
Yeah, so many other players complaining how much studying they have to do. This is a piece of cake to Colin Zitch. First down from the 32. And swarming Dallas defense. Let's go down to the sideline and Steve Dennis.
Yeah, we've got big free agent acquisition Abe Elam with us here. Sorry to take you away from watching the defense real quick. It's been since 2006 that you had a Cowboys uniform on. How's that feel tonight?
Feels great to be back out here. You know, I know the Cowboys fan and how much they love their football and know the state of Texas. So definitely honored to be back in the Cowboy uniform.
Now be honest with me, much better than you remember it at that hot, smoking hot Texas Stadium for one of these games, right?
This is beautiful, man. This is one of a kind. I've never been in this. This is my first time here, and I'm definitely something I can get used to.
What'd you feel about the first team defense on that one series?
Well, you know, that was our first time, our first audition together. You know, I know we still some things we need to iron out, but I feel like, no, we came and we stood up, you know, when it got close.
And finally, you started 31 of 32 games the last 2 years under Rob Ryan. How much is he leaning on you to help teach this defense?
Well, you know, I know what Rob wants. He wants smart, tough, physical football players, and I'm just echoing that around the group. And we're communicating, we're coming together as a team, and I feel like, you know, we got some good leaders and some good players. So hopefully this defense will take strides in the right direction.
All right, go help him hold him, all right?
I got you. I'm ready.
Thanks, Abe. Bill?
All right, thanks, Steve. Abe Elam, 7th year out of Kent State. Played the last couple of years with the Browns. Ball tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Second down at the 50. Jimmy Sadler McQueen got into it with a Broncos lineman, but ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage right there.
People always talk about quarterback releases, Bill, and really you're finding passing lanes, because if a guy that's 6'5", 6'6", as we just saw, pushes back, gets his hand up, the ball is going to come back to you.
Didn't find the passing lane that
Did
time.
not find the lane.
But Jeremiah Johnson found the lane through the left side for a first down.
But it's kind of a misnomer that you're actually throwing over people.
Right.
Now you do want a nice high release point. However, as we see,
that's how Drew Brees is able to
absolutely,
passes.
absolutely. Joe Theismann, 6 foot. There's been a whole bunch of guys that are successful, but you're finding passing lanes. You're looking for lanes to throw through, not
windows
over people. Yeah. Now, that being said, yeah, I want him 6'5", like Peyton Manning.
From the 41st down, Brady Quinn down the middle has his man. That's another first down for the Broncos. That's Eron Riley out of Duke. A pickup of 18 yards.
Good throw there by Brady Quinn. Cowboys blitz from the offside there, the left side of the screen. Not a bad little throw. Throw it away from the defender. Keep him down and in.
And a drive that started at the 21-yard line has moved all the way to the Dallas 22-yard line.
Cowboys only have 10 men on the field here defensively. I'm pretty sure.
Brandon Minor, they went right up the middle with it.
That's a new defense. Here comes number 11.
I told you they had guys all over the place in different combinations.
That's pretty nice when you can get away with that.
That's the best they've stopped the run.
Oh, that's funny.
Alex Ibiloye out of TCU.
Yeah, he comes running on the field. Nobody comes running off. Pretty good sign. There were only 10 on the field. That's not bad, though. You hold them to 3 yards and you only play with 10 guys.
Here's what was very impressive about that is the fact that Babe Loffenberg immediately noticed there were only 10 on the field. That's a quarterback for you.
It's funny how you can, you count up to 11. You start getting
Yeah, but I don't
used to
count up to 11 on every play.
Well, no, but I don't count them 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm okay. They were playing. They're basically playing like a 3-3-4. And you add that up. It's 10 guys. So I'm looking. I'm trying to find where the. Wait a minute. This is a new wrinkle.
It's a good thing it was a running play, right?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, that happens in the preseason. Don't get too alarmed.
Or it happens on Tony Dorsett 99-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
From the 20. Wide open receiver inside the 10-yard line. It's going to be a 1st and goal for the Broncos. That's DeAndre Goodwin.
Well, they're playing with 11. Good job by the Broncos. Kind of just getting that stack set. Got him off a turn here. Locked up in man coverage. You can't let the man inside, that's for sure. You got no help inside. You've got the sideline to the outside, and you've got the angle. But once they get inside of you, it's over. Matter of fact, we saw it on the touchdown from Dwayne Harris, too.
5th first down of this drive for the Broncos. Nothing up the middle that time.
Good read by Sendejo. He came up and made the tackle at the line of scrimmage.
Sendejo, coached by Denny Green in that XFL.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Dennis Green was there. Dennis Green said this guy will play on Sundays.
There's a lot of smart players on the field right now. How about the safety combination there?
Rice
Sitch from Harvard, Sendejo, Sendejo from Rice.
If they can't get people lined up, no one can.
That's right. And seems like that they would be able to count to 11.
Exactly. Well, there's Josh Thomas. Heck of a play there. Coming back after getting injured earlier. Boy, real nice play. Comes through with that left hand. So he's not going through the receiver. Now this is where you got that sideline. You know you got the sideline in the angle. Just undercut the football. That's outstanding. That is really, really good because it's a pretty good throw here from Brady Quinn. Oh, did he? I don't know if he did get a hand on it, but really nice coverage there by Josh Thomas.
Josh Thomas, he's that draft pick out of Buffalo and Cedar Hill High School.
Nice kid, too. Good kid.
All right, 3rd down here for Brady Quinn. Bad snap from center. He's able to get it. Has all day to throw. High, back of the end zone, and the Broncos come down with it. That is Eron Riley. You had a Harvard guy, you had a Rice guy, and you got a Duke guy with the touchdown grab, Eron Riley.
Heck of a catch, too, at the back of the end zone, and a good throw by Brady Quinn. It's almost got a little bit of that Dwight Clark, the catch feel.
Oh, don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. Oh,
he just throws it up to the top here, gets it over all the riffraff underneath there, and a heck of a job of getting the feet down, too. That's Brady Quinn. See that? Yeah, very nice.
Did he get a sandwich in between? He had all day to throw that ball.
Yes, he did.
I'd like to see a little more pressure. So would the head coach.
And the Broncos take the lead here. An offensive explosion here in the 4th quarter. The Cowboys will try to match now. Stephen Hauschka is on for the extra point, and it's a 7-point lead for Denver at 23-16 with 5:44 to play in this football game. So it'll be Stephen McGee time in a matter of moments. Meanwhile, the Salvation Army Cedar Crest Corps have partnered with Pro Players Foundation and former Dallas Cowboys player Charles Haley to make significant field improvements for the Cedar Crest Comets of the Salvation Army. We're very proud of these kids and the Salvation Army Cedar Crest Comets football program. And thanks to Charles Haley for helping make that happen. Nice crowd on a Thursday night in August. And by the way, here in Dallas-Fort Worth, we had 40 straight days of 100 degrees or higher temperatures snap today.
No. 99, right?
I think it got up to 97.
Oh, that's
today.
all.
Up to 97. Actually had a little bit of rain west of here.
I mean, I wanted to get the record.
I did too. At this point, the record, for those of you who don't live in the North Texas area, the record, which we've been counting down here during this consecutive day hot streak, was 41 in a row. Saturday, the North Texas area would have had 42 straight days with 100 degrees or more. Well, they got snapped today at 40 in a row. Raymond Radway made a nice move and now gets down the sideline, and this guy has quarter-miler speed.
You know, he also ran the 200 meters. Usually guys that run a 200 meter aren't foolish enough to run the quarter.
And you think he gets tired at practice?
I don't think he ever does, because you know when he scored that touchdown, he came streaking across his end zone and he just outran everybody.
Yep, got himself a touchdown, got himself a nice return here.
And he wasn't just a quarter-miler at Abilene Christian. He was an NCAA Division II national champion quarter-miler at Abilene Christian. A time of 46.35 seconds to win the national championship 3 years ago in 2008. John Phillips with a nice grab, the tight end, as the Cowboys try to match what the Broncos did on offense with 5.5 minutes to play here. And again, the story on Raymond Radway, which we were telling you about right after he scored his touchdown. He actually did not play his final 2 years at McKinney North High School. He says he was just sort of a dumb kid, and he just decided, you know, he wanted to do other things and did not play football his junior and senior year. Then he got a track scholarship with the junior college route, wound up at Abilene Christian, won that national championship his first 2 years at Abilene Christian, and then played football his last 2 years. Philip Tanner, another local kid at a Dallas Kimball High School with a very nice pickup, and that's a first down for Dallas.
Just to set the record straight, you said he was a dumb kid. You mean he said a dumb?
Yeah, no, that was his his words.
His wording.
Yes, exactly.
Another local product here, Tanner.
Kind of a foolish kid.
Foolish. There we go.
There you go.
It's like I always tell DeMarcus Ware. They'll say, you know, it's been neat getting to meet some of the older players. And I say, no, they're not older players, DeMarcus. They're former. And when you become one, you'll appreciate the distinction. Like former Cowboy Randy White in the radio booth tonight.
That's right.
It's not old. He's former.
Randy White will never be old. Stephen McGee has all sorts of time, and he had an open target over there in Radway.
He was about to have himself a big night. Another look, boy, great pass protection here. So he just sails a little bit here on him. Not sure what route that was exactly, to be quite honest. So I don't know if McGee was trying to pick up what he was running. Very rarely do you see a guy run 20, 25 yards and just kind of turn around
and stop. So, second down, just inside midfield, the 49-yard line. Tanner into the second level, into the secondary, has another first down for Dallas.
You know, I know he's playing against a bunch of backups, but that's the stuff he was doing in training camp. He can make people tears up his shoulders.
Well, and he is doing a good job of kind of just getting the foot in the ground and getting up the field. Lanye Miller was a guy that had the good 2 weeks in training camp, but it's Philip Tanner having a big night here tonight. 7 carries, 42 yards. Very nice.
I think my math is right. That would be 6
yards a
carry.
Ooh.
From the 38-yard line. Not much that time, but even on the short runs, he always battling that Philip Tanner.
Keeps his pads low. As you said, Bill, even there, he's not got a whole lot to run through here. But he gets his pads down. Watch how he drops his shoulders. Sinks his weight. Just going to lose that battle when you're going up against a 315-pound man, but
that door closed in a hurry.
Yeah. That's one of those file it under, not a bad 2-yard run.
Former Texas Tech Red Raider, number 13, Lyle Leong, is out wide right this time. 2nd and 8. Play fake, going deep down the left side, incomplete. Held up was Radway.
Well, he kind of stopped, Bill. I think that's what happens when you don't play football for so long, because he and McGee weren't on the same page there.
Yeah, somehow they weren't on the same page. I think he's supposed to come up here and fade. He thinks he's running a little stop route.
I don't think they were in the same chapter.
Yeah, because if he kept running, he might have had a touchdown.
Had a safety coming over there. Now it's 3rd down and 8 from the 36.
Let's go back inside to the slot to Dwayne Harris.
Yeah, like to see that kid run.
Get single coverage inside.
Looking for him. Got him. But a nice tackle made there by Nate Jones, the former Cowboy, number 33 for the Broncos.
There's an isolation.
It's Harris working against a veteran cornerback there.
Yeah, when he comes across, he's just got to explode out of that. He's got man coverage, and if you jog and he sprints, not a great throw by McGee, down low a little bit, but he's got to bust that thing.
Just over 2 minutes to play here, and the Cowboys facing 4th down as the clock ticks down to the 2-minute warning. They won't get this play off with the 34-yard line. Cowboys are going to be facing a 4th and 6 with 2 minutes left in this one. Jason Garrett's team trailing the Broncos 23-16. An exciting conclusion when we come back. 4th and 6 from the 34. 2 minutes left. Stephen McGee tries to keep the drive alive. Throws deep down the middle. Martin Rucker, tight end out of Missouri. 1st down, Cowboys.
Absolutely, Bill Jones.
Spoken like a Missouri grad on the sideline.
What a good throw here by McGee.
28 yards to Martin Rucker.
And this is one you just throw it right past the ear hole of a linebacker running with him. They have a tough time turning for the ball. Never does turn for the football back there. Boy, real good throw by McGee. Nice catch by Rucker.
Well designed on the sideline during that timeout. 1st and goal at the 6. Cowboys down 7. They give to Tanner up the middle. Nothing there.
All right. We're going to find out a little something about Jason Garrett.
I was just getting ready to say it.
Yes. They're going for 1 or 2 if they score. We saw Bill Parcells go to overtime on a game.
Right. Yes, we did.
Is there any rules on how long they can play a game? Because we know that there's a rule on how long you can practice.
Oh, that's right. We're going over 3 hours here. They didn't think of that. They could have put that in the CBA as well. 45 seconds left. Clock running here. Total yards by a dead heat. And the scoreboard may be a dead heat too if McGee can get him in there. Out to the near sideline. Rucker gets out of bounds. 5-yard line. It's 3rd down upcoming. 31 seconds left.
Well, and clearly down 7, a field goal doesn't do anything for you. Nice job by McGee of stepping up, finding himself another pocket.
Cowboys have all 3 timeouts left with 31 seconds left, but it's 3rd and goal here at the 5-yard line.
And this is a situation, obviously, Stephen McGee knows he's got 2 plays. You don't want to take a sack here and have yourself 4th and goal at the 12 or the 15. Just get rid of it, find another one.
Looking over the middle, and he takes the sack. The 12-yard line, 25 seconds left, and a timeout called.
And I know it's easier said than done. You're trying to make a play, you're looking, but the pocket collapses. You're not getting great protection, but you can pick up 4th and 5, but you move it back 7 yards here like this is going to be at the 12. He didn't have a whole lot of chance there.
No, and he had a little discussion with Dwayne Harris. He was kind of pointing, you were supposed to go this way, and so that play took way too long.
You know, Another way to look at it, though, there's more room to operate.
Yeah, well, there we go, Bill Jones. I like that. I like that.
See, the glass is half full.
Takes away your quarterback scramble here. Well, in fairness, hey, all these guys they've had 2 weeks. I just can't imagine playing a game 2 weeks with the group you've got in now.
Haven't even looked at the playbook.
No offseason, no mini camps, and all of a sudden you're trying to coordinate all this.
All right, Tyson Coots goes out to the left. Dwayne Harris in the slot to the left. Raymond Radway wide right.
They played a lot of too deep, and it looks like they're going to play it again. See if they don't try to get a guy down the middle of the field.
Martin Rucker, the tight end on the right side. Little play fake under pressure. Back in the end zone. Dwayne Harris. Touchdown, Cowboys.
There it is.
Dwayne Harris, the rookie out of East Carolina. His second NFL preseason touchdown. And you're going to find out a little about Jason Garrett here. Going for two.
Going for two. There it is. There you see the two safeties backing up. And just a heck of a throw in there by McGee. Middle linebacker almost got too deep, and Bill, it may have been too much room to operate. That 12-yard.
Exactly right. Yeah. See, it was by design. The 7-yard sack gave him more room.
You were one step ahead, and a nice, real nice job there by Dwayne Harris at coming up, coming back, and getting the football. I don't know what Jason Garrett's laughing about, but they're enjoying something. Look at him head down.
Des Bryant's out on the field, and he's congratulating everybody, and he's yelling at them, okay, let's finish this off. Let's get it. He was the first one out there. He was the first one out there to congratulate Raymond Radway.
Take a look at Jason Garrett.
They're laughing about something happened that wasn't supposed to happen.
Now, McGee got hit on that.
Hey, that's a violation of the CBA right there. I don't think you're allowed to hit the player with your play chart.
I'll tell you what, in all seriousness, this Harris is a football player.
Yeah, he is.
And making a case for himself tonight, that's for sure.
So a 2-point conversion, 15 seconds left in the game. Cowboys trail by 1. From the 2-yard line, a 2-point conversion attempt.
What you got, babe?
I don't know what they're going to do, to be quite honest.
Coots and Harris come wide right. You got the tight end, Rucker on the right side, Tanner the setback, and Radway on the left side.
And Stephen McGee, always an option to scramble.
Martin Rucker, 2-point conversion. Cowboys take the lead.
Very nice. Hey, and it may not count in the standings and all that other good stuff, but you know what? They've got a scoreboard here, and it's got Denver's name on one side of it, and it's got Dallas's name on the other. You might as well have more digits on your side than they do. 24-23, the Cowboys take the lead. Nice job by McGee at just buying time. And makes a real accurate throw on the run here.
Check out Jason Garrett. Skip Pete behind him, the running backs coach.
Jason Garrett said, hey, I played in a few of these myself in these days. I know it can be pretty exciting. Hey, and I say, Bill, I always say there's more pressure on some of these guys here tonight than Tom Brady feels in a
Regular season. Oh,
Super Bowl.
In a Super Bowl. Maybe not a Super Bowl.
Well, Tom Brady knows, he has a bad game, or Peyton Manning, you got another one. These guys know I have a bad game. I may not have another one. I may not have a job. I may not have a career.
For a job.
Martin Rucker just needed a chance. This kid knows where the end zone, or knew where it was in college for sure. He just has not had an opportunity in the pros. That's his game there.
Dan Bailey with the kickoff. He'll send it high and deep, 2 yards deep in the end zone. And a big hit at the 12-yard line. Isaiah Greenhouse with the special teams tackle.
Cowboys covered one at the 13 and this one at the 12.
Tonight's Sports Day player of the game is number 7, Stephen McGee. Nobody does sports like Sports Day. You're home for complete Dallas Cowboys coverage. Stephen McGee, 14 out of 24, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns. Did throw an interception, also had a 2-point conversion completion that put the Cowboys ahead with 15 seconds left.
The officials had to chase Maxey and Rob Phillips off the field.
12-yard line. Brady Quinn took the snap with 10 seconds left. Virgil Green, middle of the field to the 30, 18 yards, 2 seconds left. Timeout Broncos.
The entire time that Denver was on the field here, Rob Ryan, who we see right there, the defensive coordinator, is just motioning his guys, get back, get back, get back, get back. I mean, he must have, there you go, get back. He was doing that for about 10 straight seconds.
Nobody gets behind you.
It's like playing Little League Baseball and the big kid comes up and you move all your outfit. Get back. This is Big Johnny.
Other side of the fence.
I don't recall him practicing this situation in training camp.
You can only go over so much stuff in 2 weeks, right?
Wow, it looks like a kickoff return team for Dallas on defense. Brady Quinn will heave it as far as he can. No pass interference. And no pass interference. This ball game is over. And Jason Garrett, in his first preseason game as head coach of the Cowboys, has a win. And how about Stephen McGee engineering the come-from-behind victory for Dallas? There are smiles all around. Yeah, it might be a preseason game, but football is back. And the Cowboys have a 24-23 win over the Broncos.
John Fox, the Carolina head coach, Jason Garrett, good friends. John Fox was the defensive coordinator for the New York Giants when Jason Garrett was a player there, and they've remained very good friends here throughout. But what a nice job by a lot of young guys, and especially Stephen McGee. Again, I don't think there was anybody hurt more by that lockout than Stephen McGee, at least as far as the Cowboys are concerned, and all quarterbacks, all young quarterbacks throughout the league. So good for him. He finishes the game in Philadelphia with a touchdown pass in the last minute. He finishes a game here, starts off this season with a touchdown pass in the last minute.
And the Cowboys win over the Broncos 24-23. We're back with more from here at Cowboys Stadium in a moment, but first this from your local station.